Man, there's so many like towns that are like something de bougie, like in
What is a dictatorship of the proletariat? Can I cite a historical precedent? Cool, sure. Yeah, so a dictatorship of the proletariat is when, like, as opposed to the economy the economy and politics in general, like the political standings of a country, are dictated, are like, done on behalf of the proletariat, for the proletariat, and by the proletariat, as opposed to done for the bourgeoisie, by the bourgeoisie, in the play, like in the purpose of like upholding the state. Like the state, can I cite a historical precedent? Yeah, sure. The Soviet Union, Cuba, let's see, what else? Algeria, not Algeria. I meant to say Burkina Faso. Every single leader of the unit was a middle class bureaucrat. Middle class doesn't mean like not proletarian. Do you not know what proletariat means? I don't think you know what proletariat means, Tolstoy. If you want me to, I can tell you the definition of proletariat. Here, I'll just have to go quickly to. It's more complicated than that. Proletariat, like, there's always been a working class, but proletarianization was like a process that came about due to the Industrial Revolution. Like, proletarian didn't exist under the fucking... No, yeah, a middle class is fucking working class. Well, nobody's fucking saying that Khrushchev or Brezhnev or Gorbachev were, like, poor. Like, obviously they fucking weren't. Like, they were like a revolutionary vanguard, and revolutionary vanguards tend to be, like, more, like, better educated, and in capitalism that requires more money. I don't think they grew up rich and sheltered. They grew up, like, how fucking rich and sheltered can you live under, like, a brutal, like, regime? Like, you're just, what do you mean? Like, okay, I would like some evidence that they didn't represent the proletariat. Like, I give you my examples, now you have to prove, like, how they aren't. Dictatorship of the proletariat could be a direct democracy, but also, like, when you do it as a direct democracy, like, it works. It's just, like, I mean, like, it just, like, doesn't, it doesn't work, like, for, like, the size of, like, an entire country. No, yeah, like, fundamentally, proletarians are anybody who work for wage labor. Like, the definition of proletarian is like somebody who labors for, like, wage labor under industrial capitalism. You have proletarians, and before then you have, like, peasants. No, yeah. You just don't know what a proletarian is. Like, here, Principles of Communism. I love reading Principles of Communism by Friedrich Engels. So the proletariat is the class in society which lives entirely from the sale of its labor and does not draw profit from any kind of capital, whose weal and woe, whose life and death, whose sole existence depend on the demand for labor. That's not true. Proletariat isn't defined as a class of industrial workers. It's under industrial capitalism. We live in industrial capitalism. The proletariat, or the class of the proletarians, is in a word the working class of the 19th century, but if you actually use the definition of it, like here's the definition of proletariat. No, yeah, peasants and proletarian have a lot of things in similar, Here's actually Engels on the proletarian. Here's the actual definition, because obviously you've never, like, heard it before, and that's okay. Like, a lot of people haven't, because it's hard to learn about this stuff because people just wouldn't care. No, that isn't the definition of it.
Which one should we pick?
Should we
pick this one, which is probably honestly modernized, or the other one, which was, like, written...
My source is from Principles of Communism. Wait, yours is not directly... Das Kapital... The lowest social... Well, yeah, but dude, mine is a fucking, like, expansion on it. Like, economic class of a community... That's just, like, mine is from Engels. Dude... Engels and Marx worked heavily together. Also, Das Kapital, page 31. All right, let's see this. Lowest social or economic class of a community. Let's look this up. But also, like, mine goes more into it. Like, you still have to actually describe it.
Bureaucrats,
Bro, I mean, no, yeah, like, this is stupid.
It's entirely from the sale of its labor and does not profit from any kind of capital.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, working for no, yeah, Tolstoy, Mr. Tolstoy, or MX Tolstoy. If you're just going to like discuss over like if you're going to discuss over like this really like stupid like pedantic thing where like you were completely wrong because I'm actually like describing the definition of it by Friedrich Engels. Which is more tangible instead of abstractions. Yeah, sure. We can focus on tangible things like how living conditions in Cuba are better than like in any country similar to Cuba, and also about how living conditions in Cuba are arguably somewhat better than they are in the United States.
In some regards, yeah.
No, I didn't. I literally I didn't do that. You're saying that Engels. Okay, if you think that Engels is a revisionist, then you can go ahead and say that. Sure. Not really, because Engels and like Marx agreed. Like, I just disagree that like what you said is like different than what I said. I said the proletariat is that class in which lives entirely from the sale of its labor and does not draw profit from any kind of capital. Bureaucrats don't draw profit from capital. Not all bureaucrats do. Some do. Like bureaucrats, like for example, a lot of senators who have money in the market. No, because like they can be. Not all are and not all aren't. Like it's not like saying like I will like work for the government makes you not a member of the proletariat anymore. As long as you're just not working for capital. Yeah, you get to yell on stream. Then we're not saying the same thing. Okay, then you're just misinterpreting or then you're just like choosing to like reduce Marx. Not okay. Marx
isn't that like fucking tautological? If you're saying that bureaucrats aren't part of the proletariat, and you require like your leaders to be part of the proletariat, is that not tautological?
Well, I mean, it's basically just like a way. Also, I looked up your definition. I looked up the word "the lowest social or economic class of a community," and Das Kapital didn't show up. So,
can you find page 31?
Oh, here, I'll look up, like, page 31. Here, wait. Page 31, Das Kapital. Just from the 17th edition? Okay, so that's not even what Marx says. But here, I'll read volume 1. Maybe I have a wrong edition? What do you mean, dude? I literally just Googled the phrase. I literally just Googled the phrase lowest social or economic class of a community. Well, if it differs in translation, then, like, who the fuck cares, dude? Like, okay, this is, like, so stupid. I mean, what you're describing is lower class, not necessarily... Okay, bye-bye, Leo. See you soon.
I don't really see the,
Alright, here, wait. Alright, we're gonna have... Thomas, can you see if Comrade Albry has a good mic? Actually, yeah, can you just see if Comrade Albry has a good mic?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, whoa, Coffee and Crow might come on the stream. Let's go. Yeah. Coffee and Crow, that's awesome. Just from Merriam-Webster, has never been in Marx. Dude, I've never read Das Kapital! Like, what? I'm not like, what do you mean like a true Marx reader, dude? I've never read Das Kapital, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Like, what? Like, Das Kapital is not necessary to read. So, yeah, dude, you just admitted that you lied and somehow I'm the loser for that? Like, okay, that sounds like some serious fucking cope. But okay. I just gave you the actual communist definition of it, and you're basically like, oh, well, Merriam-Webster says this. Yeah, but I said that, like, what we said isn't actually mutually exclusive. Okay, sure. Tolstoy, if you're gonna be bad faith, I'm just gonna mute you. I mean, you clearly don't either.
Alright, yeah.
And I do. This isn't a poster, this is a flag.
So,
Good mic?
Yeah, both have good mics. Coffee and Crow specifically, wanted to ask about some, or like talk about some like compromise as an anarchist with Marxist language.
This guy Tolstoy is actually really funny. This guy Tolstoy is actually really funny. He just admitted that he lied, and somehow I'm like the loser because like I called him out on his lie, and then he was like, "Bro, you don't know what you're talking about," because a real communist would have instantly known. Like, okay, a real communist would have known what was on page 31 of a 1,000-page tome.
Yeah, word. All right.
Okay, yeah, let's
Bringing in
let's
both of them at the same
both
time?
at the same time. Oh my gosh, that could be a
Or
lot.
do you want to bring in the
Let's
first one
do
who wanted
let's
to talk
do
about Tolstoy and then do the
yeah, sure.
anarchist
Okay,
multiverse?
welcome to the curl stream. Hi, welcome.
Hey, yes, I just wanted to rant at this because Tolstoy is basically treating Marx like a dogma when it's supposed to be a science, and arguing over editions and
Oh no, he just admitted that it
trying to.
wasn't actually. I don't mean to interrupt, but he literally just admitted that it wasn't even in that. Like he just
Oh my
admitted that it wasn't
god.
even Das Kapital. The idea that they were the representatives of... No, you just don't know what proletariat is. Like, yeah, a proletariat is somebody who isn't a capitalist. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's not what the streamer is doing. That's like literally... Yeah, preachers and clergymen who don't make money off of capital are members of the proletariat.
So the fundamental thing you have to understand about about these words is, one, they're not English words. In English, it would essentially be capitalist and worker, or owner and worker. Okay, they essentially describe, in more archaic terms, those who own for a living and those who work for a living. It is a sort of updated form of industrial feudalism, where rather than by right of kings people rule, it is through property rights. So your exact nitpicking of the exact word of proletariat and bourgeoisie is ultimately meaningless if you are not backing it up with an analysis of the material basis in which it is formed. And it doesn't have to be in that original language. You can translate it into other languages.
Joe Biden is not a representative of the proletariat. How do you mean he's not a capitalist? He has so much money invested in private capital.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Joe Biden owns for a living. He doesn't work. He's not part of the working class. He owns things for a living. He invests for a living and all of that crap. All of that sort of political money manipulation is part of the capital class.
Brezhnev was a clown with a slimy hole. I don't care about Brezhnev. You can shit on Brezhnev. Brezhnev fucking sucked. Are you kidding me? I have very little to no solidarity with Brezhnev. he ultimately Brezhnev. I mean,
you're the first person to bring up this Brezhnev, so
what's my opinion on Khrushchev? Khrushchev, Brezhnev, and Gorbachev were all revisionists who were proceedingly worse than the one before them.
I don't really study this area of history, so
it's fine. Brezhnev was the one who started the war in Afghanistan, so I'm not a big fan of that, you know?
Yeah, that's not that. That's
I mean,
chill.
Basically, okay, I got a kind of hot take.
Okay.
Stalin really wasn't that bad. He was not a good guy. And I wouldn't like him if I met him. But I would say he adapted reasonably well to the standards that were forced on the Soviet Union. He adapted pretty well to the material conditions of the Soviet Union.
The claim was that the Soviet Union was a dictatorship of the proletariat.
Yeah.
Which at least immediately following the October Revolution, you could say it was true.
I would say that it was until 1956.
Any of that, but again, the point of a revolution is to establish a sort of through various means, usually force, a government installed by the proletariat, so the working class, rather than those capitalists.
Yeah, also the general secretary generally has a lot less power than people think. The executive branch of the Soviet Union had a lot less power than people think.
But again, we have to Tolstoy is not engaging with a good analysis from a scientific perspective. They're engaging from a dogmatic perspective, like arguing over like specific nuances of words within specific texts.
Well, I mean, like, sorry.
And I just wanted to call that out because, again, like when we're arguing about theory, we should be arguing about like the principles and the material conditions of each like state and group or whatever that we're analyzing. We should not be coming at it from the perspective of like dogmatic followers of some like religion. It's not a religion at all.
No, yeah.
Yeah, word.
No, and also, like, I
Also,
100%
what does
agree.
he know? Like, Tolstoy died in 1910.
No, yeah, and also, like, okay, like, the Tolstoy guy, like, he literally admitted that, like, I mean, like, Tolstoy, like, I stopped taking him seriously the second he admitted that he didn't read Das Kapital, only because, like, he just, like, pretended to have it, and, like, you know, like, when you, like, lie like something that fundamental to your argument, like I just no longer take you seriously. And then like he was like a true communist would have immediately known that, or no, you know, he said a true Marx reader would have immediately known that that wasn't on page 31 of a 1,000 page tome. Like
again, yeah, again,
he
a
says he'll stop
dogmatic
trolling.
approach. Like again, yeah, that's a dogmatic approach to communism, and like that's something I wanted to call out because like we should not be like even letting that fly like at all. You should just be like immediately when anyone pulls that shit, you should say, "Shut the fuck up."
I mean, I did. I laughed at him for like a minute straight.
Oh, yeah, no, you did good. I'm just like, I'm coming here to talk on my soapbox because
yeah, you can do that.
I felt pretty strongly about this. Like I see it a lot within these like internet leftist circles. There's a lot.
Tolstoy is probably not a leftist. I guarantee you, Tolstoy is. If I had to guess this, I feel like Levy and guess the ELO. No, actually, like I disagree with that. Like the workers were made. I think there were 8 million workers in the party. Like that's not very bad, and I'm pretty sure like here, if you actually literally just read like the Soviet Constitution, it's like very clear that like there was like a lot of emphasis on workers and democratically electing worker representatives to be part of the party, and also anybody in general could vote. How they represented the upper echelons of the party. I mean, like you can just like you can just say like, just because your parents were bourgeoisie doesn't mean that you are necessarily bourgeoisie as long as you don't exploit others for capital. I mean, like you have to have a basis of capital to fund a revolution in general. Like you just can't do it without any capital. And if you live under capitalism, the way that capital will be acquired is through capitalism. Like the way that money will be acquired under capitalism is using capitalism. They're an absolute minority. They had no say over the decisions. What do you mean? I literally just like said like there were more than 8 million workers in the party, and also everybody like I think that like there was complete suffrage. So I completely disagree with what you're saying. You know, workers had like guaranteed suffrage. They had no representations in the upper echelons. I would still disagree with that. I would say that the Supreme Soviet had a lot of workers in it. Let's see this. Workers in positions of power in the Soviet Union. Complete suffrage. Am I serious? The most famous people only matter in elections are those counting the votes. Who said that? Also, like, did he say that about the Soviet Union? Because, like, yeah, that 100% is just true. That's a Stalin quote? Yeah, I mean, like, was he referring to the Soviet Union? Yeah, like, okay, no, but also, like, what was he referring? Okay, like, no, yeah. Well, like, what was he referring to in that? Because, I mean, like, what I mostly think is that, like, like, I don't love Stalin. Fuck it. I hate Stalin. I don't like him at all. I just think that, like, if you're talking about the United States, that's 100% true.
USA Today. First article I find, fact check. Stalin likely didn't say, quote, about those who count the votes decide everything.
Okay, well, there you are. So it isn't another quote. Damn, looks like you do a really good job at looking things up before you say them.
Ooh. So, like, okay, so Tolstoy, like, what is the basis that you're, like, coming here with? Like, why does all of this matter? Through what, like, analytical method, like the reason you're what are you trying to achieve with this?
He's trying to have fun, probably. Like, he's just trolling, mostly. My favorite Stalin quote is, "I just came my pants and commit genocide."
But like, I mean, because if we are to learn from the successes and failures of the USSR for our own revolutions and our own governments in the future, what are you trying to take from these nitpicks is what I'm trying to get from, like, why does nitpicking these like slight details on like who said what and why matter?
Also, I can, like, choose to not like, she's way too quiet. Okay, I can turn her mic up.
Oh no. I'm so
That was a good.
I have a very soft voice. It's
That was
unintentional.
No, don't worry about it.
That was a good question, actually. He should answer that first, but like this like weird straw man of like, if you have people with like you know, a bourgeois background in a proletarian Aryan state, it isn't like a proletarian state anymore. It's like, is it the like actual like understanding what those things mean?
No, yeah, like, I mean, like, we basically have already covered the fact that he doesn't know what proletarian means, so I sent him the definition of it, and then he's like, well, here's my definition, and then, like, he was like, it's Marx's. No, dude, Gabe, you missed the funniest thing of all time. He said, he's like, he used, like, a fake definition of proletarian, like, basically that was just, like, poor person, and I was like, and he was like, well, actually, it was Marx's, and then when I was like, no, it wasn't, he was like, and then he was like, actually, my definition was from Merriam-Webster. Has never been in Marx. A true Marx reader would have known that immediately.
Translated from the version which, according to the 1923 Stalin reference to both the Central Committee.
So, Tolstoy, if you didn't hear what I was asking previously, it was, what are you hoping to achieve with this line of like analysis and your kind of critical nature of like
I turned you all the way up. I mean,
okay, kid.
You should scream, I think.
I don't know if
it's okay. I turned you all the way up. I mean, mostly he's just trying to do a power play, probably, and he's trying to be like pretty shit. Like, he's trying to be a power play because like everybody else can hear you.
All right, so all right, Tolstoy. I'm gonna say this again, and then I'll type it out. My question is, like, what are you hoping to gain or learn, or like what are you hoping to achieve through this line of analysis? Like, when we're talking about like doing socialism in a different country, like we can talk about like learning from the successes and failures of a prior socialist project like the USSR, but I don't see you coming to any sorts of conclusions here or any sorts of like actual analysis. It's just kind of this petty historical nitpicking about certain words and their meanings. It's actually a very like direct question. I'm asking like what is your thesis? I'm asking what your thesis is. What are you hoping to do with the answers to these questions? No,
okay,
it's a 101 question. Like
he just wants to let Epic own the commies.
I am
like he's like no, everything's about power. Like, dude, like if you're thinking that this is like that's how you talk to children, yeah, you clearly fucking are a child, man. Like, come on.
Honestly, it's kind of how we have to talk to you to get you to make a cogent point.
So I mean, again, if you're just here to have sort of like a fun historical
wait, here, I have a question. Wait.
fandom, that's fine. I have nothing against people enjoying history and nitpicking like details of history for fun. Okay.
If wait,
That's
also
cool.
no, if it's a softball question, then fucking answer it. Yeah, if it's a softball question, then answer it. Then what are you trying to do here?
I mean, I'm not trying to throw you hardball questions.
But he's
I'm
just
not
here to
trying
have
do
fun and
that
talk to
shit.
people.
I just want there to be some sort of like material analysis that we
You
can
just sound
then
angry, bro.
gain from any like we're going to be spending all this time analyzing the failures of the Soviet Union. If we're doing it just to be critical and tear down the idea of the Soviet Union, we're not gaining anything from that for our movements.
Okay, Tolstoy, if you're gonna be rude to my guests that I have on, I'm just going to ban you. Like, while you don't need their permission, or you don't even need my permission, like, if you're going to be rude to people that I have on the stream, like, if you're making, like, this, like, an unpleasant place, then, like, you fucking suck. Okay, well, guess what, Tolstoy? You suck, too. Goodbye. You're getting banned now. There's just no reason to be so rude. You know,
I just got asked a fucking reasonable question, bro. This is lame. You weren't even the streamer.
I barely did like.
I want zingers, alright? If you aren't asking me.
If you aren't laughing at how small my penis is, please don't even talk to me, okay?
Exactly. If you weren't just, just spitting out.
Was he angry I was nice to him?
I think that he was basically just like angry that like you weren't being like he was like angry that you were like
I need more zingers. Give me more zingers.
Like he was angry that you were trying to like critically engage him, basically.
Yes, he was like
yeah.
Stop being so reasonable.
So it's okay. Like I also critically engaged him. I just did it in like a loud way because that is all I know how. That is the only way I know how to critically engage. Benji's born after 1993. Don't know how to be quiet. All they know is be loud when critical engaging. Let's see. Eat food.
Should we talk to the anarchist now?
Yeah,
I
would love
my
to.
whole thing was gone. Like Tolstoy has been vamped to the aether. So
yeah, I usually don't like to ban people. Like